Hello, and welcome to part 2 of these exhibition videos. You may have noticed already, and I'm sorry to disappoint some of the fans, but this is not the recommend button. Rather, this is a rogue that I'd like to show you some of the stuff on. I know I'll try to make it up to you at some point. I know that 40 fighter built with the recommend button was just, fascinating to watch, but I figured I could show you some other things. One thing I will mention is that I'm planning on stealthing past most of the monsters here just to make sure I can fit this within the 10-minute video. Now this first group that we're facing here has an orc fighter and an orc cleric. I'm going to just go ahead and start off by trying to knock down the orc cleric and make sure it doesn't get anything off here. And got off that heal, unfortunately. That's that. Now obviously if you've noticed, he's getting his sneak attacks landing on the knockdown, but even without the sneak attacks he's still able to hit for about 20 damage. One of the main reasons for this is the damage bonus system, which I introduced, as you can tell by the little icon in the upper right. This gives 1 point of damage per 10 levels of Assassin, Ranger, Rogue, and Shadow Dancer levels combined, as well as giving a damage bonus based upon dexterity. In this case he has 6 from his dexterity. This also, however, loses its potency if you take any classes besides those 4. Now I have an orc mage and an orc fighter. Near death, evasion, mage just can't touch this, clearly. As you probably noticed, this is a 40 rogue. I built fairly close to the recommended button in terms of starting stats. If I was trying to make him an absolute power build, I'd reduce the wisdom and charisma and give him more dexterity. In terms of his skills, he has appraise, disable trap, hide, listen, a little bit of lore because I had extra points, move silently, open lock, persuade, spellcraft, spot, tumble, use magic device. In terms of his feats, dual wielding feats, armor, skin, blind fight, blinding speed, which I'll show you in a little bit. Some epic skill focuses, foci, that sort of thing. Nothing too crazy right there. And 20d6 sneak in this case. That certainly went a bit faster. So at that point you've seen me fight those guys. I'm going to go ahead and stealth ahead now, as I've already burned close to 4 minutes of my time here. One other thing I'm going to talk about as I continue here is something called the Shadow Walker armor. Now one of the main issues you have is that characters that are dexterity built depend on both their AB and their AC to come from their dexterity. Compared to a strength or constitution based character, this means that they can suffer horribly in both departments instead of just one. In other words, if a strength based character has, let's say, 4 less strength than he's supposed to have, he has the same AC. He just has a little 4 less AB and 4 less damage, not exactly the biggest deal. On the flip side, if this dexterity character were to do that, then you have both 4 less AC and 4 less AB. This is going to hurt a lot more, losing that 4 AC compared to that 4 damage. As a result, I've instituted something called Shadow Walker armor, which grants greater armor than normal, but requires a certain amount of base dexterity and is only usable by assassins, bard, rangers, rogues, and shadow dancers. As you might notice, we have an enslaved young blue dragon here. Let's hope we can take it out before it kills us. Evasion is so sweet. It really is. The best part about improved evasion is that even if I somehow fail it, I still only take half damage. It's really quite ridiculous. And young blue dragon down. In terms of his other gear, pretty much kind of the same sort of stuff as my fighter did. Fort +5, the dodging +6, armor +5, gloves of haste, mind spell immune circlet, short swords with 1d6 electrical, 5 enhancement keen, belt of agility +6, 4 dexterity ring. Again, this only has 10 out of the 12. You might notice down at the bottom I have a bunch of potions, and I'm not actually using them here because I don't want to make this want to make sure this is doable by people who aren't using said potions, even though those resources are available. I'd gain 3 AB, as well as an extra damage point were to use them, but again, I won't. I'm going to start off by trying to kill one of these fighters here, and then take out the War Priest, land a few sneak attacks. After this first fighter goes down, I'm going to go ahead and use my blinding speed. Heal up here. Blinding speed now adds 4 AB, 2 AC, and 4 reflex for the duration. As you can see, my AC is now 60. My AB would have been 51, but that jerk decided to hit me with Battle Tide, which makes me lose an AB. And there's a harm. Earthquake, let's heal again. And at this point he's out of most of his best spells. He's already used a Storm of Vengeance, of Earthquake. What's left was just some Flame Strikes. And as you can see, I can evade those quite easily. He doesn't have anything left. At this point it's just a matter of wearing him down. Just to try to make sure we fit within the time video, I am going to speed this up a bit by using these potions. My apologies to anyone who's offended by this. As you can see, we're now at 54 AB. Coincidentally, the War Priest has 54 AB, meaning we're guaranteed to hit on 3 of our attacks and almost certain to hit on the others, unless we roll a 1 or that 25% effective concealment kicks in. As I mentioned in one of the threads, and it's worth mentioning here, if you are a melee character, having blind fight is essential. It will have the amount of time you miss versus concealed opponents, 25% versus 50%. If you want to melee, you should get it. Just pretty much period, end of story. Oh, he's badly wounded and healed, but he only goes up to injured, because the heal on this server has been modified to not heal you all the way to full, but rather heal you based upon your level. In this case, he healed about 250 hit points, I believe, with that spell, which will take me, like, 10 more hits to eliminate. As you noticed, I did not even need to use my heal versus the dragon. I think I used 2 heals on the War Priest here. But with my epic dodge and 50 and 60 AC still from blinding speed, which is active for 3 minutes, he just can't touch me. And that's that. You got some gloves that give a bonus cleric level 9 spell slot and 2 wisdom bonus. And the path forward is now clear. Now, I believe roughly the 9.5 minute mark, so I'll make a few closing comments. This is being played just as a level 40 rogue, nothing fancy, no hide in plain sight, no death attacks. Just a straight up rogue to show what they're capable of in these kind of settings. As you might have noticed, compared to my fighter, he actually has 2 AC higher, despite the fact he's not using a shield. If the recommend button was actually using the tumble, he'd have 2 higher AC. So that'll be it for now. Thank you for watching.